Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about the fourth episode from Princess Session Orchestra, Nagaz's introduction. And I feel like this episode gave me what I wanted. Because I felt like so far Princess Session was very tame, very calm. The reactions were kind of slow and the pacing was a little weird in this aspect, and this episode gave it to me. There was a lot of energy, there was a lot of back and forth. It was very smart and very well done. I really liked it. I feel like this is my favorite episode so far. Very interesting one. So before I start talking about the episode itself, I just want to talk a little bit about those moments that I really loved. There was a moment in which Nagase was dealing with a crazy fan, and the crazy fan was getting like very close to her, and she was bending backwards. And when she came back, her back was hurting, and like the timing of that is like so good. There was another scene with Nachi and Nachi arriving in a moment that Kagari and Minamo were shaking hands, and like she's like, "What did I miss?" That was also very, very good. I feel like this episode had those moments that felt quick, like witted, and very well done. So kudos to this episode. Very enjoyable. So we start the episode with the villains. And it's interesting because I don't know. There's usually in a villain group, there is something at least. Like there's either comedy or there's an animosity between them, there's a rivalry between them. And with Bandsnatch, I don't feel anything in particular. It just feels like they are working towards the same goal. And it feels like they each have a personality of their own. Obviously, they are different than each other, but I don't feel like they are trying to construct a vibe between the members, apart from, ooh, they're my colleagues. And that's it. So today we have a new villain being introduced, which is Drum and Girl. He's so handsome. He is so handsome. And so right at the start of the episode, we understand a little bit more from the villain side. So one thing that we didn't know before is that after they attack, they mess with the memories of the people that they have attacked for them not to remember the attacks. And that is so weird because we haven't seen them doing this in the show. So there was no way of us knowing that prior to this. How do they do that? Do they need to be close to them? Do they need to act on it? How does this work? And how much of the memory they erase? Because people know about the princesses. People know about the fact that the princesses protect Elisipia. What is the case here? And even one of them says, like, we can't keep doing this too much because maybe it might stop working in the future. Because the fact is, they need to keep on attacking Elisipia. And so people can't really remember the attacks because if the girls are scared to go to Elisipia, they're going to stop going. And there's going to be no musicians for them to attack. So it's a very smart thing, actually. But I don't like the way it's done and the way it's shown to us here because they could have shown it to us prior to this, the way they mess with their memories, and then explain it in the episode. I like the idea, I don't like the execution. And then we get to the actual episode. And in today's episode, we are introduced to Nagase, who is a streamer. She is someone who goes to Elisipia to stream. And Minamo is liking her content lately. And Nachi, I love how Nachi is being a constant in the show. She is very lovely. I love her character. And Nachi says that Nagase, she studies in the same school as them, and so she's 1 year younger than the other two, and they decide to go to her classroom before class starts to talk to her. But when they do, what was that? Oh my god, that dialogue was so funny. Nagase is the energy the princess needed. I feel like both Minamo and Kagari are very, very tame. Sometimes Minamo tries to be a little bit more high energy, but it never really gets there. And Nagase is the one. She is definitely going to be a standout in Princess Session because she is very different from the other two. She is closer to what Nachi is, but on a different level than Nachi completely, because I feel like Nachi is she is a very sane person at the same time that she is a crazy person. She can be both of them and she can traverse into both sides. And Nagase, at least judging by the episode, she is crazy like 90% of the time, because there was this 10% of the episode as well. And so she started talking about something else, and she started to be like a detective because she watched a detective show in the day prior. Very, very good scene. And they were not able to tell her that they liked her streaming site. But then after class, they talked to her. Minamo said that she is a fan now. And Nagase gives her an autograph. And she writes something wrong. She spells shooting star wrong. And girl, Waku Tomite, the people who are doing the fan subs for this, they are killing it. Oh my God. And so I feel like that was to show that Nagase, she is trying to do things and her heart is in the right place, but her actions might be a little messy here and there, but she is trying her best. She's doing what she can. And then they decide to go to her concert, to her special performance in Alicipia. Minamo calls Kagari and Kagari says she is going to go as well. There's a little bit of dialogue between them. And let me just say something about what I said in a previous video. I said that in the first episode, I found that the real world felt very dull and Alicipia felt very colorful. But I thought that was supposed to be a contrast. But in this episode, episode 4, it didn't really feel like that to me. I feel like it was more of an art direction from the first episode, because episode 4 felt so pretty all the time in every scene. Like, I really like how they are handling the colors, but I feel like in episode 4, they handled the colors even better. I don't know why. It was very pretty. And then when we get to Alicipia, Nagase is preparing for her concert and a girl arrives. I love the design of that girl. Mid-season princess, please. I would love to have a purple mid-season princess, and it would be that girl. She is a crazy, crazy fan of Nagase. She is obsessed with her already, and if it's like even hard for Nagase to deal with her. And there is a little bit of a moment of doubt after she interacts with that girl. She remembers what Minamo told her before, and she gets her confidence back. And it feels like we don't see her verbalizing it, but it feels like she is not as confident about her work as a streamer, as an idol. She is still getting there. She's not very popular, but she is trying, but the confidence isn't really there on her. And this is the 10% that I said before. Nagase does not feel like super at ease. It's not easy for her like it is for Kagari, who has been studying, who has been training for a while now. For her, like, she is doing it on her own. She probably does not have professional training, so it's a different thing. And it's nice that they are the one, like, she is the one that sets the little stage up with the help of an Alicipian, but she is the one who sets it up. She gets it ready, but then Drum attacks and he gets her Muse Essence. We see that both Minamo and Kagari are still in the human world, and then they go to Alicipia and they transform and they fight. And while they start fighting, we have Drum making a comment that is very important, which is, he says, those are the princesses of this period of time. This is how they look now. So obviously we had other princesses before. We saw the silhouette of a princess or princesses in the first episode. And now it's clear that they are not the first princesses to ever appear. And we don't know if the villains who are attacking now are the same villains that attacked before, because the way that Drum puts it, it makes it feel like he has attacked before. But at the same time, we don't really know that, because he might have only known about the princesses based on the villain world, because we know that there's a third place that the villains are from, because the villains are not from Alicipia, because they're not girls, and they're not Alicipians either. I mean, girls are not from Alicipia, but they're not from Alicipia either, I think, because they're not Alicipians. So there might be this third place that the villains come from. And so he gets the Muse Essence from Nagase, and the girls transform, and we have the fighting scene. And I love episodes like this, that the girls, the princesses, they don't have to go through a hurdle during the battle. They just have to look cool. Because what was the point here? Nagase was, even though she had her Muse Essence captured, She was watching the fight. So they just had to be cool. This was the best fighting scene of the show for me yet. And they just had to look cool. They just didn't have to go through hardships. It was not a hard battle for them. They just had to look cool for Nagase to see it. And it was the first time that she saw the princesses. And then they defeat the big pawn very easily. And they start a little dialogue with the villain. And Drum tells them that he captures Muse Essence because it is something natural for him. It is part of his existence. It's just like for us humans eating meals. So I feel like this is another insight on the villain side, because this just goes to show that the villains, they are attacking for a necessity. It's not like, oh, I want to get Muse Essence for, I don't know, like I want to get a special power. It doesn't seem that it's that. It's just like we need Muse Essence for our existence. And so that's what they're doing. And at least based on Drum's feeling and his speech on this episode, Kagari gets very angry because she does not like the comparison. Because we eat for survival, but we do not take anything by force. We just do it because we need to do it. And they are taking Muse Essence from the girls in Alicipia by force. They're not handling them Muse Essence. They are taking them, and they're hurting the people in the process. And so they are ready to fight against Drum. And that was a weird scene because like they got ready to fight and Drum was like, aren't you going to tend for the little girl who's there? And like, what can they do? Like the Muse Essence was already saved. And like Navi usually is the one to check on the people who are captured. But what could they do to help her? Hug her and wait for her to come back? I mean, they could wait for her to come back while fighting the villain too. I didn't understand that. And he went away and they did not enter in a combat. I would like to see that. But obviously it's too early, I know. And then Nagase wakes up after a little while. She is ecstatic that it is Kagari that is close to her at that moment. So she's like crazy about Kagari. Obviously, who isn't? Kagari is a queen. But I feel like I'm changing my favorite now. I feel like Nagase might be my fave. I don't know. Girl, I love her character. And then everything is fine. And even though she is too hyper, the girls are like, girl, stop a little bit, chill. You need to go back and rest. And that's what she does. And then we have Nachi arriving, Nachi seeing both of them shaking hands. And Nachi's like, what's going on? What did I miss here? And then at the end of the episode, we see that Nagase is wondering, and like her confidence has gone to zero, and that is because she saw the princesses. So here's the thing about Nagase's character. She feels like she doesn't really have much sparkle on her. She doesn't know about Muse Essence yet, but she will get to know about Muse Essence. Obviously, we know who she's going to become. So I'm going to call it a sparkle. I don't know. A Kira. Or a Muse Essence even, but I'm going to call it a sparkle for now. She doesn't feel like she has it. And then after she saw the princesses fighting, she understands that she doesn't have it. For her, in her mind, that was a true sparkle. That's what a sparkle means for her now. The princesses fighting. Wow. And so she doesn't have it. So what is she going to do? From now on, she will not have the confidence to keep on moving forward as a streamer if she's not on the same level as the princesses. I'm curious to see where this is going to lead us. But I have two considerations. The first one is that after we have the Muse Essence being returned to a person, we had a little trinket, the song fragment that was born out of Nachi's savings. And now nothing happened with Nagase. And I know Nagase is going to have her own to become Princess Meteor. But like the Muse Essence returned to her and nothing was born out of it. It felt a little weird. And the second thing is that she remembers the princesses. Aren't they supposed to be messing with their minds? Like what is going on with that speech from the beginning from the villains that they say that they mess with the minds of the girls for them not to remember what happens during the attacks. Like, this is a little confusing to me. But I feel like this was the best episode so far. I really liked it. I feel like I might have a new favorite. I thought Zeal was going to be a favorite of mine. And I really like Kagari. Kagari is a cute character, but Nagaze. Nagaze is winning me over. She's really winning me over. Anyways, babies, this was my view on the 4th episode from Princess Session Orchestra. How are you feeling about it? Who's your favorite so far? Do you have a favorite, or are you still waiting to get to know more from the characters? Anyways, this is it. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member here on YouTube, on Patreon, if you support me on Throne, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.